The gentleman yields back, and I thank him for his participation today. I want to thank everyone who participated. As we heard today, the Postal Service can and must increase the number of electric vehicles that it purchases. As the United Nations warned just yesterday, couldn't be more on point for what we're talking about today at this hearing. The time to combat climate change is absolutely now. And the best way to do it is to burn less oil and gas. And the Postal Service cannot ignore its responsibility to reduce the environmental impact of its fleet. The United Nations says if we don't do this, we are facing dire consequences. And relying on gas guzzlers is also bad for business. Which is why the major automakers, the private sector, and the Postal Service's competitors are all moving to electric vehicles. Most of them already have. We've heard from our witnesses today, including the nonpartisan GAO, that the Postal Service based its decision to buy tens of thousands of gas-guzzling trucks on faulty, wrong assumptions. The Postal Service used gas prices that are just half of what they are today and climbing. They claimed electric vehicles cost more to maintain than gas trucks. I've never heard that anywhere except for in the testimony today. The exact opposite of the evidence and the science and really the testimonies of everybody here today. And they ignored the benefit of lower emissions from taking thousands of gasoline engines off the road, improving our environment, and the scientists are saying this will save lives of Americans. I am very pleased and thankful to the Post Office and their services today, and Ms. Stevens in her testimony. Thank you for committing to provide this committee with the analysis that the Post Office used to determine how many EVs to purchase. But it's clear that the Post Office needs to go back to the drawing board. Today, I call on the Postal Service to listen to the concerns of the Inspector General, the EPA, the GAO, and this entire committee, and conduct a new environmental impact study and a new cost estimate for electric vehicles. And if Oshkosh is overcharging the Postal Service for EVs, they should immediately renegotiate to a better price for America. Finally, let me briefly respond to the repeated attempts by my Republican colleagues to hijack this hearing to score cheap political points that have nothing to do with health, environment, or Postal Service. I will not play that political game. I intend to keep this committee focused on delivering for the American people. I will not relent until the Postal Service finally follows the private sector's lead and begins a real transition to an electric fleet. Going electric is imperative for our environment, for the Postal Service's bottom line, and for our national security at a time when Putin is using fossil fuels to finance atrocities against the people in Ukraine. I want to sincerely thank all of my colleagues who participated today and each of the witnesses for your valuable testimony, your productive conversation. And I would say that we as a committee, we as a Congress, we as a country have a singular opportunity right now before us to choose to reduce our dependence on fossil fuel, lower our cost, protect our economy, and help save the planet. What's not to like about going to electric vehicles? There's so many wins for our country. I want to thank everybody, and in closing, I want to thank particularly our panelists again for their remarks, and I want to commend my colleagues for participating in this important conversation. And with that, without objection, All members have 5 legislative days within which to submit extraneous materials and to submit additional written questions for the witness